I don't know. Should I do it? Should I not? Hi everyone, it's Dina Concepcion and it is day number 9 in How Did I Get Into This Line of Work? And it's all about decision making and the power of decision making, because the word decision actually comes from the Latin meaning to literally cut off. I have food in my teeth. Oh, it's gone. Happy Valentine's Day as well, because I do know it's Valentine's Day today. So even for those of you who are single or who are in a relationship, today is a day of love. But I think it's still as much a day of love as every other day of love. But anyway, that's a side note. Happy Valentine's Day. So decision means to literally cut off from another decision. So if you think about making a decision, if you decide to catch up with a friend, sometimes that means to actually not catch up with another friend. And if we have decided to start dating someone, it means that we've decided to not date someone else. When we've decided to watch a movie, we've decided to not watch another movie. So whenever we've made a decision, it actually means to not do something else. And I think a lot of us forget that. When we make a decision, we're actually saying yes to something, but it also means saying no to other things as well. And sometimes I know, even for me, if I haven't made a decision, it's because I haven't actually decided to cut off from other options. So to make a decision means to cut off. When I was in real estate, I remember it was the beginning of my third quarter, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted. I hadn't made commission. I had made some sales, but I just fell short of my threshold, I think, on my second quarter. And then on my third quarter, I was like, I wanted to give up. I didn't want to do it anymore. I thought I was failing. I didn't think I was doing a very good job. And then I found out in a very short period of time how I was able to overcome that. And a lot of it comes down to the mindset of thinking that I have other options. When I decided, okay, I'm just going to push through that little bit more. I'm going to see how I go for the rest of the year. I'm going to do my very, very best for the time frame that I have that my boss agreed to hire me. If I just focus on this and there's no other, there's no leaving, there's no giving up, I just need to give it my everything, even more than my everything, because I had to push past that barrier. I was able to actually create a lot of results for myself because I had decided there was no other option. And sometimes it's when we're in the middle of making two decisions and we're sitting on the fence, when we actually haven't made a decision, is actually what's detrimental for us, because the only thing we need to do is keep moving forward. The only thing you can do wrong is not making a decision, because then you're not moving forward and you're stagnant. Because the thing is, when you make a decision, you're going to figure out sooner or later if it was the wrong decision or right decision. If it was the wrong decision, at least you know you can change. You can do something else. You can change the approach that you're going at. If you do it right, then at least you know you did it right. But if you don't make a decision, then you're not going to actually know whether or not it was the right or wrong decision, because we get so caught up in our head and thinking about, is it the right decision or the wrong decision, that we actually don't move forward at all. And it's really just about making as many decisions as possible and not being scared to fail and not being scared to get it wrong, because you're not going to know unless you get it right or wrong. You're not going to know unless you give it a go. And, it's funny because as I teach a lot of these things, I'm still learning it. There's a really good quote: you teach what you're here to also learn. And I'm reminding myself as I say these videos, I am as much talking to myself as I am speaking to you guys. And so I find it really fascinating that there's so many depths to knowing this and understanding it and experiencing it, because I think about it as I'm talking, I can see parts in my life that I'm like, okay, so I'm not really making a decision there and I need to make a decision there. Because sometimes we think we've made a decision, but if you're not actually taking the right action, and if you're not actually thinking that it's the only option, if you haven't cut off from everything else, all the other options, then really you haven't actually made a decision. Have you spoken to somebody who says, oh yeah, like let's catch up on Friday, for example. And so you've agreed. You said, yep, you've set a time. You're like, yep, yeah, let's catch up on Friday. And then they send you a message saying, oh, I didn't know we were catching up, or we hadn't confirmed yet. And in your mind, you're like, well, no, like I did. We did confirm. Well, maybe because in their mind, they hadn't actually made a decision, because they hadn't decided, I'm not going to do anything else on that day. It's about deciding, no, like this is when it's going to happen. Like rescheduling is different, but actually deciding this is what I'm going to do at this time, or this is what I'm going to do with whatever it is that you've got your mind on, it means to cut off from something else. So I'm thinking of, I got food in my teeth. I literally like quickly just ate my roll. I'm like, I've scheduled my life at 2 o'clock, so I need to make sure I eat. So if I'm doing this, it's because I've just got food in my teeth and I'm trying to get it out. So one of the 3 things that you can do in your life so that you can practice the power of making decisions, because when you can make more decisions, you move forward in your life a lot faster. You get more of what it is you're looking for. You feel more empowered because you know that you're able to direct your life in the area that you want, and you don't feel like you're falling victim to whatever's happening in your world. So the first thing that you can do is, 1, question, is that the right thing for you? Not is it the right thing for your family, your friend, your partner, your boss, but is it actually right for you? Have you actually stopped to think and feel, is this something that I want to do for me, or am I doing it out of obligation? Am I doing it out of what I think I need to do? Number 2 of these 14-day videos was about intuition. So really feeling into your intuition and feeling into, is this right for you? The second one is qualify your time. We have things in our life that obviously take more priority in our lives compared to other things in our life. And if we think about the things that are in the top priority compared to things in the bottom priority, maybe things that aren't even a priority right now, where in that scale does it fit into? And whatever it is that you're looking at making a decision about, sometimes you can put it off because it does take mental capacity, mental strength and energy to make a decision. So is it something that you need to decide now, or is it something that you're going to decide later? Because it's having that expectation on yourself, or feeling bad that you haven't made a decision and saying, oh, I haven't done it yet, and why haven't I done it yet? And then you feel bad about it, and then you beat yourself up about it, when really maybe it wasn't a priority for you to just make that decision now. And so think about, is it like, and be okay with it. If it's not something you're going to decide right now, then that's fine. Just say that to yourself and accept it, and be kind to yourself about it. And then maybe put it in your diary to revisit again at a later date. So the first one is it right for you? Listening to your intuition. Second one is qualify your time. Figure out where on your priority list it is. And the third one, it builds on the second point, is figuring out, is it something you need to do now or later? Because even if something's a priority to you, it doesn't mean that it's something that you need to figure out right now. Like, for example, my book. I'm meeting my publisher in March, in a couple months' time. Oh, next month. I'm meeting him next month. So it's not something that some of the decisions I need to make around that, I'm pushing off until March, because there's other things I need to figure out in the meantime with my business. And I've also just launched my membership, and I'm also venturing into a different part of my business. So that's my priority at the moment. And then when it comes to the end of March, that's when my book and what's going on with my book and figuring out things and making decisions about that's going to be more prominent then. Because sometimes we consume a lot of our own energy thinking about things in the future that we actually don't need to be thinking about at this present moment in time. So those are 3 things that you guys can do to practice the art of, and practice the power of vulnerability. Can you see it's always about vulnerability? I love the topic of vulnerability, about decision making. And thinking for yourself, is there an area in your life that you feel you haven't made a decision yet? And then doing those 3 steps that I just mentioned. And thinking about what's the impact of you not making the decision, and what's the impact of you making the decision. Because sometimes when we realize the impact of what we're doing or what we're not doing is actually what we need to stop and question ourselves to actually decide, you know what, yes, I need to make a decision pretty much now, Or, no, it actually doesn't make that much of an impact on my life. I'm just going to put it off for this amount of time. So it allows you to do more so the second thing is to decide where it is in qualifying your time and how important it is for you. So I know that there's been a couple of you here, but I haven't seen who it is. So for anyone who's not watching live, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think, your experience of making a decision and how you felt empowered, or maybe an area of your life that you maybe haven't made a decision on, that you're planning on making a decision on. And yeah, let me know how you're going. I will be doing the next live, which is day number 10 tomorrow at midday Sydney Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who are wanting to connect with more like-minded individuals, let me know if you want to be part of the Nudie family. It's only $7 a month to be able to connect with some amazing people and get monthly inspiration and action steps and exercises. So I will see you guys at midday tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Bye.